miles now. Call up Dr. Seuss, I think they running out of rhymes now. Jugging and finessing, we've heard that 100 times now. Niggas keep repeating, they so like they in a vine, in a vine, in a vine now. Why they gotta lie up? Say them diamonds dancing, homie, we know that it's rhymes now. I don't got a Rari, but my whip is really mine now. I don't got no daddies, but I know my bitch is foreign now. I'm from California, you can tell just by my vest. My niggas about it, you can tell just by his stance. Don't throw no subliminals or he'll be throwing hands. My bro play baseball, I hope you know how to catch. Turn my cue, ooh, they know I'm up next. Curly headed cute, she sent me the text. Yeah, I've been the dude since I made a YouTube. Fuck a million views, need a view somewhere floating like I'm YouTube.
Welcome back to the Most of the Bloast. It's a white screen. Just like I like these white girls, I like the white screens. Can we white screen for me one more time? Can we hit subscribe and like for me one more time? What we doing today? We exploring the Zedra Cave. Okay. We got a little boss fight here. They like to give us these bosses sometimes in the middle of stuff. It's just the golems. These guys are pretty easy. The little podium guys will drain your MP, but the golem he just charges himself up and hits you. He doesn't really do anything crazy. Enough game talk though. You guys know what's going on here in the story. We are traveling with Mishua and the royalty of Grand Zadora here, which looks like Mishua. And we're gonna figure out what her memory loss thing has become, or where her memory's gone, by traveling through this cave and getting rid of the monsters, right? So let's get rid of these monsters. And while we're talking here, I'm gonna talk to you about how to find the answers we seek. Yes, I know, guys. I know. If you're like me, you got a lot of fucking questions. And sometimes it seems like there's no way to get the answers, you know? Or sometimes we feel like the way to get those answers is inauthentic to us. So let me show you how to authentically and nicely, you know, not force answers out of people like a damn interrogator, but just to get what you want to know out of life, without much fight, struggle, anxiety, fear, all that bullshit, all those negative emotions. We don't need that. All we need are answers. All we need is information, right? That's what Misha was looking for. She wants her memory back. So in this episode, we're going to figure that out. We're going to learn things. Are you ready to learn things? I'm ready to learn things. Okay. So when you don't get, so like, let's say we're having a conversation, right? We're having a conversation. I ask you a question. And you're like, you say something like, I don't know, well, maybe it depends on the situation or whatever. When you don't get a direct answer, it changes the course of the conversation. It changes the direction, if you will, of the conversation. It kind of gives it no direction. Because when you ask a question, you kind of plan a response depending on the answer to that question when you ask it. Correct? So when you don't get that direct response, it changes the whole course of everything, and then you basically have to rework your whole response technology there. I don't know what to call it, but you know, your gap skill, you have to rework it a little bit, right? And that goes to a deeper problem too, because actually in conversations, what we should really be doing is just like listening to actively what they say and not be preparing our next response, you know, preparing the perfect comeback or whatever, you know. You got to be in the moment. You know, when I say in the moment, I don't mean 2 moments ahead. I mean like this one right here. Like the word that I just said is the most important word. No, not that one, that one. 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 Okay. Jeez, this lag is bad. Okay, don't look at the screen, guys. Don't look at the screen. It's lagging. Okay, here we go. You can look again. No, wait, don't look at the screen. This is a podcast. Don't worry about the lag. We're just traveling through a dungeon. It's just boring RPG stuff. Anyways, guys, when you get this response, when you ask for like someone like let's say we're out driving and I'm like, yo, where you want to eat? and the person I'm with is all like, I don't know. A good response, and this is so dumb that this works. This is so retarded that this works on 99% of people. It really does. I'm not even joking. Unless you have just an argumentative person who really is like stupid and indecisive, who you should probably cut off because they're stupid and indecisive. This is gonna work on them. So when you ask them, hey, where you want to eat, and they're like, I don't know, really, just anything's fine with me. What you can say, say this exact line, and I swear to God, it's gonna work. So what you can say in response to that, just tell them, I understand, but if you did know, what would you want to eat? Or what would the answer to my last question be? You just have to say, I understand. First, you relate to them. You give them the yes and, but you just ask the question again, and you frame it in a different way. And for some reason, asking someone the same exact question will never work. But if you provide empathy and sympathy with their perspective and their mind, and reframe the question in a different way, it basically feels like a whole new moment. You know, like I said, like I was just saying, only the moment here matters. It basically feels like a whole nother timeline that they just entered, and they're like, whoa, now I have to answer the question. Now there's no, like it's a psychological trick in their head that usually works in your favor if you really just want to know the answer to something. It usually works in your favor, because what happens is when someone says something like, I don't know, they're really working it out in their mind slowly. They're going through options, constantly, but they just don't know at that exact moment. So if you give them more moments, you give them more grace, and you understand their perspective so they get sympathy and they want to help you now, right? Then they'll give you an answer. They'll give you an answer. And this works for a lot of things. I don't really have another example because it's early in the morning. I don't care about examples. We're just going to go with the food thing. But, any question you have, it'll kind of work this way. It'll kind of work itself out this way, where you can kind of just reframe it, steer it in a different direction, and then this next moment you'll get something out of it. So I suppose that's the short lesson there. If you guys want to leave the video now, I wouldn't blame you. But we have more stuff in the Zedra Cave to do, so I know you want to see this boss fight. And while we're doing the boss fight and the rest of it, going back to the castle and stuff, we'll just go a little deeper into the aspect of questions, So people don't want to answer our questions, because information is powerful in the right hands. And the more dangerous you are, the more uncontrollable you are. So that's especially why females like to omit information from you and not answer your questions. Because a man who has all the answers he wants to know is basically God. So it's kind of like a power dynamic whenever someone doesn't want to tell you something or be vulnerable with you. And you have to, just like in this last example that I gave, give the rule of reciprocity every time so that it doesn't make people uncomfortable, I guess. So, for example, and I don't suggest doing this, but if you want to ask someone their age, you should always give it yourself first. Just like if you're asking someone for their name, you give it to them first, Just like if you're asking someone why they can, suddenly transform a giant orb of light around them to protect themselves from a dragon, you should probably create your own orb of light around yourself first. I don't know. I tried to relate it to the game. And Lucida is very indignant about her being able to use the flashy light thing. So apparently that's a power that she wants, and she's gonna absorb her, take her back to the castle. But don't worry, guys. We're gonna save Mishua. She'll be fine. She'll be fine. I think yeah, so we're gonna go rescue her from the castle here and in just a little bit. That's our next quest here because she's gonna not get captured, but you know, get captured, if you will. We love a good damsel in distress, don't we, guys? That's a classic RPG video game story. Hmm. But yeah, rule of reciprocity, guys. Rule of reciprocity. If anyone does something nice for you, if anyone gives you something, you know, it's always good to give back, even if you don't necessarily like this person. Just from the laws of power, the laws of the golden rule, I feel like one should always follow this, even when not pursuing people, strictly because it's gonna stop people from stabbing you in the back in the future. You know, nobody's gonna slash your tires if you always give them gas money or whatever. So that's one way to watch yourself, protect your neck from future complications. Um, but let me get back into this question thing. So we have soft skills for asking questions that are just gonna slowly lead us to getting our answers not only faster, but more often, right? So, um, small things. We're gonna go back to this food analogy. So when you're ordering from like a fast food joint, and this is a small thing, this is a small little altercation that you can change. A lot of people are just going to the fast food, or they're pulling up to the window and they're being like, can I have a blah 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 blah? I want you to change that. I want you to reframe that because asking for permission is weak. Is weak. We should always ask for forgiveness. Always, always, always. So when you're at the drive-through, you can easily just reframe this instead of can I have into I want into let me get. You know what I'm saying? Let me get a number 4. I want a burger and fries. Or you could just be like me and order on the app and pick that shit up. I don't want to talk to you motherfucker at all, honestly. The only people I want to talk to is this damn Blue Yeti mic and whoever is on the other side of the screen. You are the most important person in my life right now. And I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. But that is a small shift that's really going to change your power perspective. Because, I mean, I don't want to push this too much because people are going to hear it the wrong way, but we were all there. We were all there. We all have the source within us. We were all there at the beginning of the universe. So if you have main character syndrome, that's why, because you have a piece of the main character. Yep, it's true. We all were. So don't feel weird. It's very easy to lean into the main character syndrome, and in my opinion, it's always been easy to lean into to take that essence and lean into the sonderness of world and realize that everyone feels exactly how you feel. Um, and so I've actually lost the plot. I don't know what the point I was making with this was, but essentially, the soft skills, the forgiveness skills are things we need to connect, you know, and truly embrace that feeling of us being around other people, sharing the world with our fellow compatriots. Because, you know, social creatures here, humans are social creatures. We have this complex way of communication. And because of that, there's a lot of nuance, but luckily, because of that, there's a lot of skills to be gained in the communication field, right? So I'd say don't discount it. Do what you can to learn the most about your yapping, your communication. But guys, we are in the new generation. So don't be afraid to be different in the way that you operate. Don't be afraid to be against the grain. As long as you're not hurting anybody or yourself within the realms of possibility, I'd say anything's real. You know, any way that works for other people is real. And I really vibe with this aspect because I've always been not a terrible communicator, just not the most efficient one. You know, a lot of the stuff I say and do for other people just comes off in a way that I didn't mean it to. And it's just a two-way street, you know, it's just not their fault, it's not my fault. But when it happens multiple times to multiple different people, well, then, you know, it's most likely my fault. Most likely, most of it is my fault because I am the common factor, the common conscientiator of the you know, the common denominator of the events. So you got to take that stock in yourself. You got to realize where you are personally, and take those steps to fix yourself, and find those answers that you need. Get that memory, you know, get that sealed in there. Um, but the main thing that I wanted to get into in this last little section for this point is, you know, just asking questions, asking if you can have, or asking for permission, you know, forgiveness and whatever, you know, it's just a little weak, skill that we can get rid of to obtain a little bit more masculine energy there. And uh, I guess as a little side point here, you know, still be kind and be nice to fast food retail workers. Everyone's got a life, everyone's got a soul. It's just some people walk around with, I'd say, defeated souls, you know, non-complete souls. Nevertheless, they still have ones. You know, we have to treat everybody, you know, equally, or at least how you want to be treated. Golden rule type shit. If you want to be treated nice and kindly, then I'm sorry, man. You got to push that out. But if you want people to be blunt, honest, not sugarcoat things with you, you got to do that same shit. And, you know, we can't always expect people to fall in line to our request. But you can always put that first foot forward, you know? You can always take that first step. And every day, that's what our objective should be, you know? If your goal is to read more, then every day just get a couple words under your belt. Get a couple pages. It's about that daily consistency, and that's what I'm definitely going to preach. The problem is with daily consistency is you get bored of it, you know? And boredom it's good. It's good. It's just like life, you know, being good and stressful. Boredom is good. Boredom is what drives us to grow and change into what we need to be, you know, that true blossoming process. But a lot of people get scared of that. They're like, I don't want to do the same thing because I'm gonna get so lost in the boredom. I'm like, no, man. That's where it all starts, man. That's where the growth happens, you know? So don't be afraid of that consistency. Grow a little bit in yourself. We all need to grow at whatever age we are into something different, because change is always coming. Winter is always coming. Actually, the winter's almost over now, but you get what I'm saying. Next year, it'll be coming on strong, coming on cold. So get ready, grab your blankie, and we'll move it on to the next point here. What we doing here is talking about, it's kind of like the last one. It's like asking questions. To ask questions. I don't know if people do this anymore. Most people that I hang out with don't really do this. There's some girls that I know that still do this, but whenever you want to ask someone a question, don't ask them if you can ask them a question. It's a pretty easy lesson, right? For me, personally, when somebody asks me if they can ask me a question, it just kind of annoys me. It's kind of like a pet peeve. You know, it's like another barrier to entry for me to say no. And lately, I've been loving to flex that wonderful magic word, no. So even if I mean, like, honestly, I'm gonna be real, guys. Most times I'm apt to answer questions. You know, I'm an information guy, so, you know, the best way to get answers is to speak the truth. And I love to give information out when people ask, you know. But if you ask me to ask a question, it just kind of pisses me off, and then I'm like, I just want to say no for no reason, you know. I just want to say no. Fuck you. I'm gonna say no because that was a dumb question. If you're not comfortable enough to ask the question outright, then you are either in the wrong situation or talking to the wrong person. And that's just it. Because we should never be afraid to just come out with a question. See, the easiest way to ask the truth is to speak the truth. Just like easiest way to ask the truth. Easy way to get the truth is to speak the truth. To ask the truth. To ask the truth, to get the truth. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like when you ask permission to ask your question, that's like putting a gateway to the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like imagine, I guess some people do have this, but like it's like having a light switch and then having a box over the light switch that you have to lift up to flick the light switch on. It's like, what is the point of this? Unless this is like a super sealed light switch. And sometimes it is. Sometimes you're asking a very personal question, something that's very deep, very, you know, whatever, and it's kind of sensitive. Sometimes you are, and in those cases, still fucking ask the question. Don't ask permission, because that sets something up in their mind. If it's a very sensitive question, that's gonna, you know, set them up in their mind to automatically defend their answer, or feel like whatever answer they give has, you know, an opportunity to hurt you, or you're looking for something specific in your answer. And I feel like most questions don't need that much setup, and if they do, you're probably in the wrong situation to ask it. Like you're probably at work, or at a movie theater, or at a grocery store, or you just met this person and it's just like a question that you really don't need to know. And if you really don't need to know, they're just gonna tell you that you don't need to know it. But if it's a question that you really don't need to know, but you really want to know the answer, setting them up in that way, it's like, can I ask you this question? When you set them up like that, that's gonna make them probably not want to answer even more. The reason why a lot of teachers, you know, curriculums and places say when you're taking a test, if you don't know the answer, just choose, you know, which one you feel like fits the best and move on, you know, so you can complete the test, is because what our minds usually latch onto first in our answerness is usually the correct thing. But if you frame a question, like let's say before every question on a test, there was a pre-question that was just like, what number question this is, or what would you like to answer the next question? You would get so exhausted. It drains the mental energy, so that when you actually get to the content, half of your decision making is already gone. So you don't have that impulse anymore. You don't have that like, I'm here, I'm ready to do it. You know, like when somebody asks you your favorite color, orange. You know, you don't have that impulse anymore because somebody already set you up with this thing, and now you got to be all prepared and get the right answer out and all this bullshit. It's just so unnecessary. It's so unnecessary. Kevin Hart said, say it with your chest, so that is what I preach. That is what I preach. If you want a true answer, if you want an honest answer, don't set people up like that. Don't set people up like that. Asking for permission is so useless. So here we are. This is the back of the castle through the Seabreeze Cave, a little dungeon there. We also had another boss, which is pretty cool. And then this little alleyway over here leads up to the Grand Zadora, and this tower will lead us up to the back of Ann Lucina's room so we can rescue her. But first, we're gonna spy on some people, and I'm gonna give my last little sentiments for this episode: how to get those answers, how to get those memories, how to get those questions answered here. Guys, the moral of the story is you just gotta be more confident, honestly. And to grow confidence, you just have to do things. You have to, you don't have to really make a schedule or, you know, like create a plan or whatever. You just have to think shit and do shit. You gotta put something in your mind, say I'm gonna do this or I'm not gonna do this, and execute. That's all that confidence is, I assure you. Once you have enough thoughts that you think that are actually good for you, it can not even be good for you. Just like, I'm gonna play video games for exactly 1 hour. Sure. That will get you more confident. But I'm telling you guys, if you put parameters in your life, in your mind first, and complete those parameters in the physical world, that will get you confident in your ability to get shit done, to do things, to be there for yourself. Because a lot of people don't think they can. don't think they can be there for themselves, and they don't think you can be there for themselves because they haven't been able to show up for themselves in the past. But luckily, just like most memories, you can replace the sensories with different sensories. In life, there are two types of people. There are the people that get what they want, and everybody else. So to be one of those people, we have to grow our confidence. We have to grow our brains, the most powerful tool in our asset. That's what changes us from every other animal on the planet. We have to train our brains to become a little bit more powerful. I know we only use like 5 to 0% of that shit, but that just means we got a high ceiling. We got a high ceiling, you know? The sky is the limit, basically. So we are over here. Let me go ahead and full screen that. I'm gonna do a little cutscene here at the end. Rescuing Ann Lucina, and then our boy is going to appear out of nowhere. Love that guy. What a guy. Not this guy. Yeah, that's Ann Lucina's brother. But the other guy is gonna pop up here. He's gonna be great. One last thing I'll leave you guys with, little tidbit. Always remember that rotting fruit will fall on its own. So never be afraid to cut off, you know? Not cut off even, you know, because this is a rotting fruit analogy, so if you have someone nasty in your environment, someone who does any of these traits or doesn't obey the rule of reciprocity, or, you know, starts talking shit about people around you, and you're like, dang, they're gonna do that to me soon. You don't have to vehemently, you know, slice and dice them. It's like the rotting fruit will fall on its own. People are gonna crash out. People are gonna crash out. You know, you can just not engage. It's an easy way. An easy way to solve things. And see, Claus here tried to get the memory of Ann Lucina back, but we're gonna have to do a little bit more work for that. A little bit more work for that. He can't just touch her like he touches everybody else, because that would be sexual harassment. But anyways, next episode, we are going to use the butterflies to get inside of Ann Lucina's head. Don't we like getting inside of a girl's head? You know, it's great. It's great. Incredibly easy to do, by the way. Incredibly easy to do, by the way. You actually don't have to do much to do that. As you can see, Claus is doing it very easily, very handily. So now she's in the portal. We're going to travel into her memories and unlock them so that Mishua can become the hero and all that good stuff. Okay, guys. Everyone, subscribe. Have a good day. Breathe. Go take a shit.